All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market show. Hope you guys are having a great morning. Hope you had a great day yesterday. Let's get started today in what has been a very exciting week so far in the market. So today a more manageable gappers list. So that's fun to see. Good morning, Norm. How are you doing today?
Hey, good morning, Carlos. I'm doing well. It's been a crazy morning so far.
Yeah, it really has. It's funny because I was thinking about you earlier. Apple is very active, although it's not on here. Apple is one today
hmm
that has amazing volume, so we're gonna look at it as well. But let's get started right over here, guys. As usual, we'll go over our watch list from yesterday. We had here. We also had RKDA for the low flow team. Then we'll go over news, see what the SPY is doing. Then we'll get into our gappers, see what's going on with this bunch of stocks over here. Nasdaq active, Nasdaq gainers, and I hope today, without this list being 20 tickers plus, we can get to your stocks on both chats, YouTube live, and also in our chat room here. So let's get to it. So Apple yesterday, again, a lot of the stock. It was a very tough morning. A lot of the stocks were a little bit choppy than they usually are. Than what we've seen for the last couple of days. Right, the market has been very great the week before and the week after. The market is always good. There's always opportunities, but the last several days there has been plenty of opportunities. Almost out of our watch list, you can pull off like two different watch lists and still have enough going on that traded very well. So here's Apple yesterday. Apple had a beautiful opening range breakup. Look at this nice range opening here. Nice pullback right below the moving averages on the way up. Great entry for a long. Hits the high of the day. You might want to be taking a partial there depending on your strategy. And then you would have taken some off here once it's hitting this moving average. Then from here it gets nasty. You would have been stopped out after this drop here. So this is a very nasty drop. But on the way up, it becomes a beautiful ABCD pattern, guys. So you got your A, you got your B point here. Here's your C. Happens very, very fast. Right on the 1 minute, it's a little more cleaner. You can see this beautiful engulfing pattern on the way up, holding the moving average. And this could have been either an entry or an add, depending on how you trade it. And it could have been nice to head up towards the 206 level we had here. Then from there, it gets pretty choppy around the moving averages. And then you lose the VWAP. And we talk about this in our class. There's other stocks like AMD, I think Roku also. We talk about this in class 4. But once you lose the VWAP, you want to look out for it to hold the moving average and head lower, right? It becomes a beautiful trend trade here, holding the 9. So you can see testing it a few times, not able to stay above it, and heads down real nice towards the low of the day. JD here also, again, just look at this open. You had a nice pop right at the open, but then after that, just very choppy in this area, and it was very difficult to trade. Eventually, this settled in, kind of head higher, and it hit the high of the day, heading to some newer levels up here on the high, and then coming back and testing this 200 moving average on the 5. But again, just not as clean. I was watching the price action closely on this one. Didn't see anything too great on that. AMD had a beautiful trend trade. Again, at the morning was very tough to trade. If you went for the opening range breakdown, you got to pull back to the VWAP. It didn't run much though. You was able to get at least 1 R here. Then it kind of just hesitated. This price action did not look very clean. But look what happens later on. We always talk about it on MU and AMD. If you wait about an hour, maybe 30 minutes, look at this beautiful trend trade. It cannot stay above the VWAP. Here's your line here, right? Once it loses it for the second time, it just wraps around this 9 EMA. And we talk about these trades that do that in class 4, where they lose the VWAP and they grab a moving average and just head lower. You can see beautifully how it loses it here, heads down, hits the low of the day, and then also comes back, tests it one more time, and then continues on this beautiful downtrend. So AMD did that perfect yesterday. Roku did the exact same thing. Here you had an open. It was very choppy in this area. You could have traded it here, but you had to be very fast and scalp it. Because again, look at the drops. Goes above the VWAP, below the VWAP, back up. But then eventually, you can see it cannot continue to make a newer high. And notice how this moving average here is just kind of holding it down. Once it loses the VWAP for the third time, look what happens here. It becomes a beautiful trend trade following the 9 EMA right after almost the same time as AMD around that 10:30 time frame. So again, just a strategy to look out. We teach this very detailed in class 4. So if you have not seen class 4, definitely check it out in the education center. Take a look at for those VWAP trend trades. And also here, this is M. M we had because M was down quite a bit. So again, just a wild open on Macy's here. Didn't really give you, once you see this here, this kind of turned me off a little bit for opening range breakup or breakdown, because once you have this, it's very difficult to trade on a range. But beautiful drop here. Does find a bottom eventually. Does give you a nice double bottom here early on. Usually these don't happen that early in the day, so it's very difficult to trade. But then it goes on a beautiful trend trade here. Gets above the VWAP, holds the VWAP, and then goes higher. I think it hit up to 17 at one point later in the day, so it really took off. here trying to close that gap. So Macy's was, if you were trading later in the morning, that was a good trade to take. Kohl's was also a beautiful opening range breakdown, guys. Look at this range here. You get the pullback this time in that first 5-minute candle. That's the pullback you're looking for a good risk to reward. Look at the 1 minute for a better entry. Here's the entry for the short, and then you get this beautiful drop immediately right after that pullback. So a nice trade on Kohl's. Then from there you get another test of the VWAP, cannot hold VWAP, drops down again, hitting the low of the day and even further. So again, Kohl's at the open became a beautiful open range breakdown. TLRY, we had on our watch list. Norm had called this out for a possible. Very choppy at the open, but look at this here. Beautiful drop, finds a bottom, cannot make a newer low here, so this becomes interesting. Again, almost a double bottom here. Pretty early on, so you want to be careful. Not always the double bottoms don't usually happen this early on, so it could be a possible fake out. But from here, it just takes off nicely. Now, it didn't have a lot of volume, but this was slow and steady, just climbing higher and higher, hitting the high of the day and also the high of the pre-market. So TLRY, which is a stock that normally trades very crazy, actually traded very clean yesterday. And then for the low float team, we had RKDA, guys. This one here has just been incredible at the open. It actually was down quite a bit at the open, and then it recovered a lot. So this was yesterday's actions. You can see here just taking off, kind of doing a nice pullback here to the VWAP, and then from there ABCD pattern, and then you get this huge pop all the way almost to $7. So after that, sells off all the way to these moving averages, and then today's also in play, so we'll look at that as well. Today's up 18% already with a 790,000 shares traded. So that was the action for yesterday's, guys. Let's get into the market. Norm, what's the latest and greatest with the SPY this morning?
The SPY seems to be off its meds. First of all, I want to apologize if there's any background noise this morning. My son is home from school today, so my wife and son might be making noise in the other room, and it might get picked up. So I apologize in advance. Yeah, the SPY's off its meds. When I first got up this morning, about 4:30 my time, the SPY was up pretty big. And then it's just been a whipsaw ride back and forth since. The China news has come out. Hong Kong, their central bank announced cutting rates and such, that their economic worries over there dropped the market, and then there was some China talk, dropped the market more. And then about 6:30, 6:45-ish Eastern time, Walmart came out with earnings that were amazing and started popping the market higher. Then there was word out of China that they might be willing, they want to meet the U.S. halfway, which is given a little bit of positive light to the trade stuff. So just back and forth after yesterday. It's been a wild ride so far this morning.
Gotcha, man. Yeah, it's definitely going to be exciting to see what happens today. So let's get into it, guys. Let's look at our gappers list this morning. Right at the top, we have our low flow for the week. Really has been pretty active. Go ahead, Norm.
Carlos, I'm going to throw out one thing. When you go through those gappers, be sure you add GE in there as well.
Absolutely.
I'm usually pretty opposed to GE. It's not going to show up because it's got a very low ATR. That's why I don't trade it, but we'll talk about it in a minute, why that is going to be in play today.
Excellent. We'll definitely look at it. Just put it on here so I don't forget, but look at this volume already without looking at the chart. 6.7 million shares traded. So again, GE trades a lot of volume, but even for GE, that's a lot already in the pre-market. So we'll get into that in a second, and then you can fill us in on what's going on there. So RKDA at the moment, guys, again, just has been having a couple of the last 5 days on this stock has been amazing. They have some, I think, FDA approval, Norm, if I'm not mistaken, or some kind of approval. They have several upgrades as well. You can see here already hitting 881 this morning. This level is actually a level going back. That's the high of the pre-market now. I just want to show you guys how these levels come back into play even months after. This is a high from going back to March, that March time frame. You can see that right on there. So we had that from before when it was in play, and you can see how the pre-market hits that on the head and then before it sells down. So again, this one has been very active, guys, for the low float team. 829,000 shares traded so far, 18.6 this morning. So again, this is one that if you're trading low floats, you definitely want to watch this morning. Heading down, we have Walmart, WMT. So WMT is up 6.5 today, 555,000 shares traded. Again, this is a very nice pop for a stock that's trading at, I was trading at 106, right? Previous day close yesterday was 106.2. So clearly a nice little pop here. Pre-market activity not looking all that great. Walmart doesn't really trade that well, but today is definitely active. It's got some stuff going on. Norm, is this earnings?
Yeah, they reported just some amazing earnings this morning, frankly, and that's kind of what popped the market as being the largest retailer in the world, and the economy in the U.S. has been strong on the back of the consumer. It just shows that the consumer is still strong. We had economic data that came out just a little while ago when we were coming on the air too, that consumer spending was much higher than expected. Retail sales came in like double the number or more that was expected. So all that put together is showing the consumer still strong, that a recession's probably not right around the corner like everybody was freaking out yesterday with the bonds yields inverting. So that's what's going on there. And I'll say Walmart's action isn't that terrible. It's not, I mean, it pre-market and it's a NYSE stock, so it's not going to be that great. But also the chart's being influenced by these massive candles right here. So it's a little bit better. Once we get away from those two candles, I think it'll clean up, the chart will clean up a little bit and it'll look a little more impressive.
Yep, I agree. You have these candles here that throw off with the actual price action is in this area here. So hopefully that as we get more into the pre-market, this will get a lot better. All right, guys. So Walmart definitely in play, guys. Again, that's a big pop. I know it only sounds like 6.5, but a 6.5 on a stock that's trading around $100. That's quite a bit. That's a nice pop today. Next, we have BABA, BABA. So up 3.2, 1.9. Million shares traded, so that's quite a big. Got a beautiful pop on BABA here. The daily chart here looks all messy, but for some reason it does look like it's holding some kind of support areas, right? So it came down here. You can see where the previous day closed at. If I draw a line right on there, you can see where you see some resistance and support around that area. And today we're up quite a bit on BABA, 3.3. You can see another level on here. The last time we hit this 170 area, we headed right back down. So BABA looks interesting. Usually doesn't have the best pre-market activity, and also like Walmart could be thrown off by these two candles. And I'm noticing that these two candles are in the same time frame that Walmart has them. So I won't be surprised if some of our stocks today are going to have these same candles, usually around 8 a.m. and you can see around probably 7:05 or so. So again, BABA definitely in play today. We'll definitely watch that. Next we have DCPH. This one has been also on fire, gapping up at, I believe it was at 80% on Wednesday or Tuesday. Again, so here we have it in play, down 3.4 this morning, 153,000 shares traded. The issue with this one, guys, that we got to be careful with is the spread. The spread could be very, very nasty. As you can see now, it's 20 cents. But when it was in play on Tuesday here, the spread was as much as even $1, almost 80 cents in some cases. You got to be very, very careful in this area. So DCPH definitely want to watch. Let's see what it wants to do here. Pre-market action not looking all that great, but we'll see. We'll give it a little time to develop. Cisco,
Yeah,
go ahead.
this DCPH, like any smaller company, I mean, it's not a tiny company, but smaller company, sees their stock pop like that, take the opportunity to announce a secondary offering, raise more capital, while their stock's at an inflated price, and often you see it drive it down a little bit like that.
Yeah, yep. So we'll see. And again, also, if I'm not any short bias, but if this thing drops, you can see you have a nice gap to play with here, but you do have an area of support around that 34 that's been holding. So we'll be on the lookout for that when we start doing our levels. Cisco, any news on Cisco? Down 7.2. What's going on with these guys?
Yeah, so Cisco reported earnings this morning, and they got hit, and they're blaming China trade war, and they're also saying, I read a blurb about, they're talking about Chinese customers not buying their products. So that is what happened with Cisco this morning and driving it down over 7%.
Got it. Excellent. So here we have, guys, is it good pre-market action actually for Cisco, bouncing back a bit as low as 45. So I do like the pre-market action. I do like that it lost this level. This is your 200 moving average right on here. As you can see, we have several bounce from that, one here, and about 2 days in this area. Lost it a bit here, and today we're gapping down huge on this stock. So one to watch for this morning. And next we have one of our buddies we haven't seen in a while here, CGC. It is down 11.4. Norm, what's going on there with this, guys? 335,000 shares traded, and it looks like we lost this 30-ish 31 level we've been holding for some time.
Yeah, so obviously this is one of the pot stocks that we started playing, and over the last year. They reported earnings last night, and these companies are expected to grow extremely fast. Their revenues came in much lighter than expected, so it's feared their growth isn't as strong. Their growth potential isn't as strong as originally thought.
Got it. So on here, we'll definitely take a look at that one, see what's going on. I love the fact that we lost this support here. We're down quite a bit, 11% with some good volume. Pre-market activity actually looks decent, a little bit early, only 8:47 Eastern time. So hopefully this can develop even better as the morning gets going. So that completes our gappers list on trade ideas. Let's go over to NASDAQ active, NASDAQ gainers. NAKD, guys, penny stock, we don't usually trade. TVIX is volatility index. We've been seeing a lot of traders take a few scalps on this. Again, be careful with this one. It is leveraged 2 times. And it really moves the opposite of the market. So like an ABCD pattern, opening range breakups are not going to work well on this stock. So be careful when trading this. SLS, also a penny stock, usually trading under 20 cents. Nothing there. QQQ, ETF, NASDAQ ETF. AMD here is finding some kind of action. 1.3 million shares traded, is up 1%. So that's why it's not hitting our gapper scanners. But you can see here, I like the daily a bit. And, it's kind of holding this area from before around the previous day close where it closed yesterday. It's got some other level at 29.69 as well. Pre-market activity actually looking pretty good for how early it is in the morning. So I'm definitely going to add AMD for us to take a look at. Another NASDAQ ETF, GHSI, also a penny stock. We'll skip that one. RKDA, guys, this is the low flow of the week. Really, it's been on fire since Tuesday, I believe. Look at the days on here. Look at the daily chart. Really holding some of these levels, gapping up. Another 19.4 today. 881,000 shares traded, and has actually a very decent pre-market action. But again, this is for the low flow team, guys. If this is not your niche, don't trade it. Stay away from it. TSG, what do we have here? It looks like a block trade to me. Yeah, it is a block trade here, guys. So you have a trade here of 853,000 shares traded. You can see some huge numbers on here. But here's your 853. Not really in play. No pre-market activity, because really this day here, this is the 815. This is starting today. It's only one trade here. So we'll skip that one. And the last one on this column is the NASDAQ ETF that we really don't need. SINT here is not doing much at the moment. Does have 401,000 shares traded. Pre-market activity looks okay. I don't like this daily chart though. Look at going from 4 then heading right back down. It looks like it's better at selling off than actually selling up. I don't see a lot of green candles on here. Also, I'm just going to check what the float is on this one. Wow, 726,000 on the float. So even for the low float team, I mean, this is one you want to be very careful with. This thing can drop on you and could be very very manipulated to pump and dump situations. So again, just gonna stay away from this one. If you want to trade, if you are in the low flow team and you want to trade low flows, RKDA is probably the best one to watch this morning. East is not doing much. BLIN also looks like one of these stocks that doesn't trade very well. Let's just take a look at what the float is on BLIN. Again, another one, less than 1 million shares flow, 888. So for me personally, I'm just not even going to spend time on that. CSIQ, no activity, guys. I'm not seeing any volume on this one. AVXL, same situation. GERN, only 100,000 shares traded. But again, look at this pre-market activity. Pretty nasty. And look at the time in sales. You do have some areas with some huge orders, probably block trades. Not really anything tradable here at the moment. SESN, also nasty. A few block trades, nothing going on there. Rio, REAL. So this was actually in play yesterday. It actually looks like it traded very well. Just want to go back real quick and see what the activity was on the 5-minute. This was yesterday, and actually we didn't have this on our list yesterday. I don't remember having it on our gappers list.
We looked at it, Carlos. I believe we threw it out because it had a pretty nasty spread, which even now isn't that great at nearly 30 cents for a $15 stock.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not the best. And you can see here, actually yesterday sold off pretty nice, but again, not sure how that price action actually was. And yesterday we had a lot of tickers. We had like 15, 20 on the gappers list. So I just couldn't watch everything. So right now at the moment does only have 30,000 shares traded, not really much. Daily chart looks interesting. It looks like it's finding some kind of support here around 1375, but the volume is not there right now. This could be a good one to wait until it hits our scanners and see what we can get out of that. And the last one here we have is INMD. This is a low flow stock, but didn't really trade well yesterday. Not much volume today. Actually, here's the last one. ACOR, ACOR. Also no activity, no volume. This at the moment. All right, guys. So that is what we have. Norm, what do you like today? What's on your list?
Well, GE that I called out, Apple should be interesting again. Roku's been in play like mad. And NVIDIA reports earnings tonight, and it's kind of been trying to find a bottom around 150. So I'm going to have my eye on those today. So GE is it's bouncing a little bit right now. Like I said, it usually would be on our gappers. It meets all the criteria except for the ATR, which on GE, it's going to be lower than 50 cents. It's 35-cent ATR, but today it's going to be in play. I actually kind of poked fun at Peter the other day. He took a trade on GE, and I joked about him sitting in front of his computer all day for a 4-cent move. So the story on this one is Harry Markopoulos, which he's a forensic accountant and a famous one at that. He let the SEC know about Bernie Madoff 9 years before it was ever uncovered that his deal was a Ponzi scheme. And he wrote a book about it after the fact. He actually alerted them, I think it was like 4 or 5 times over a 9-year period of time before Bernie Madoff was actually figured out in his whole Ponzi scheme. Well, he came out this morning and said that there are some funky dealings in GE's accounting, which has caused this huge drop this morning. We'll see what happens there.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Again, they usually have a lot of volume, but today this activity and this volume looks amazing. And last time I said, hey, I'm not going to keep GE in my list because it doesn't move much, it dropped almost 80 cents. And I got an email from one of our members saying, what are you talking about? So that was fun.
Yeah.
All right. So that's what we have on GE. So you also like Apple. I see Apple here. Apple is very active. It's just not coming up on our list because, again, it's wrapping around the previous day close. So the percentage is not hitting over 2 or under 2. But I think Apple is one to have on our list. And Roku, again, every time this stuff sells off, just pounce back up. So Roku is great. I'm just going to remove some of these levels here. And then NVIDIA, we'll take a deeper look at NVIDIA when we do our list. All right, folks, what do you guys have on your end? I see on both chats we're looking at PBTL. Someone mentioned that, PBTL. All right, let's take a look. So, wow, this is up 72%.
Yeah, this one's on a buyout rumor too.
Okay. So this is why it's up so much, 72%. Again, is it a buyout? What kind of buyout is it? Can it be tradable, or is it one of those buyouts where it's not really?
I don't know that there's enough information out about it yet. I haven't seen it at least. They just disclosed that they had a buyer potentially at $15 a share. So VMware is the buyer they're talking about, and I don't know if it was a stock or cash deal.
Gotcha. Yeah, so if it's just a rumor, guys, it could be tradable. So we'll keep it on here. We'll do our levels for it, and then we'll see if anything comes out of it in our scanners, or if we keep it on our main watch list. All right, what else do you guys have? So we have PBTL. Let me see. I don't see much from you guys. That means we either have covered all, or there's OSTK. OSTK is interesting. OSTK is one of those stocks that you gotta be very careful with, but let's see what they're up to today. So nice big drop the last 2 days, here and here, beautiful. And now you're hitting some moving averages, previous day close on here for possible support. Not much volume or activity just yet. This could be a good one if it hits our scanners for a possible bounce here. But again, only 55,000 shares traded at the moment. We do have Cisco, Benny. So that one we have FB. Let's look at FB. Actually, Norm did mention FB. Yeah, so out of the Norm's top 4, Apple, Roku, NVIDIA, and FB, we'll pick the best out of those and see which ones look great. And then we have TPR. Let's see what TPR is. We haven't checked that one out. So TPR, guys, I do love the drop here. Daily chart is okay. I love the drop of 7.5, but just the volume is not there yet on TPR. So that is my concern with this one at the moment. And so that's why you're not getting this nice pre-market activity with only 33,000 shares traded. Does not mean that it cannot get better after the open, right? So this is why we have our scanners, high of day bull flag. We have our turbo breakup, turbo breakdowns, ISR, top and bottom reversal. These are all, right now we're only sharing the gapper scanners with YouTube, but these are all available in our chat. So if this thing comes up, we can definitely tune into it and see what's happening out of that. All right, so I think that makes up our list a lot tighter than what we had yesterday. I think we had some more popping up here. LK, let's look at LK. It just showed up in the gappers list. LK actually sold off here pretty nasty yesterday, so it's bouncing back a bit, but even though it has 100K and up 3%, again, just this pre-market activity not looking all that great. We can throw it on here just to take a closer look at it later, but most likely not going to keep that one. All right, Norm, let's take it away on what we have for announcements.
Yeah, so the much anticipated interview with Dr. Steenbarger, we released that on Monday afternoon. It is really a phenomenal watch. It's a great way to spend an hour of your time learning about trading psychology. He's probably the best known trading psychologist in the world today, or at least one of the top few, and has a number of good books. He even has another book coming out this month, which he discusses with Andrew William Robert in this interview. So if you have not yet seen it, please check it out. It is on our YouTube channel. There's a link above. You'll really enjoy it. It's an hour well spent. Then, so Trade Ideas, just a few times a year, they give what they call their test drive. This is their back to school test drive. It is the premium all features version of their software, which usually runs in the ballpark of like $2,200 to $2,300 per year. You can test it for 5 days for $8.99, essentially just the price that they have to pay for their data feed. You get it, like I said, for 5 days, and that runs this week. I guess that's ending yesterday, maybe. I apologize that it was still up there. So give it a shot. See if it works.
You'd be surprised. Sometimes if you go to them and say, hey, you really want to join, they will make an exception. Again, some companies do
They'll
that.
make an exception.
Yeah.
And I've seen them extend them in the past by a few days. So it's strange to me that it ended in the middle of the week. It might go till Friday. Then Andrew, currently in Switzerland, as we all know, he just climbed Matterhorn, had some great pictures. Check out his social media if you haven't seen it. Luckily, he summited and he's back down safe. And he is having a meetup in Zurich on August 18th, this Sunday. Then the Benzinga FinTech Awards. We were honored to be nominated for Best Financial Literacy Tool. If you enjoy our content, either as a member or you join us in the mornings on our YouTube channel for the pre-market show, if you enjoy the content, we would love your vote there. You can vote one time per device per day. So thank you in advance, or thank you if you've already voted for us. Then trade review with William will be the last hour of the market today, 3 p.m. Eastern. Carlos, that is all that I have.
All right. Excellent. All right, folks, so let's get into this list over here that we have and go through it. And Andrew has gone long Walmart 113.21, looking for the all-time high. So guys, just be careful. Risky trade, mind your size and the spread, of course. So be aware of that. So let's see how that makes out. But again, it's very strong this morning. All-time high. What is the all-time high today on Walmart? All-time high sitting at 115.40. So we'll see. Again, up right now 6.5. So that's definitely going to be in play this morning. All right, folks. So let's chop up this list. Let's start with Walmart here. So Walmart, as we just mentioned, all-time high sitting at 115.40. High of the pre-market sitting at 114. You have a beautiful bounce here. Look at how we had this area of consolidation. They received some great news, and you can see the nice pop over here. Towards the bottom of the pre-market action, we have the pre-market price right now. We have 111.78. Then we have this great moving average right on here, which I like, around 110.46. You also have some days opening and closing around that area, so that's good to have. So again, Walmart very strong right now. As you can see, the pre-market action looks very active. These two candles are throwing off the actual chart, but hopefully it can find a base here and head higher to that 115.40. Good volume right now, 590 on shares traded so far. So let's see how that makes out. Here we have BABA. BABA actually has a very nice clean pre-market action. If it was not for this candle, this would look a lot cleaner, right? Because this kind of is messing things up a bit. But just check out this action on BABA. Usually doesn't trade very well pre-market, but today is definitely the exception. High of the pre-market sitting at 169.35. I'm going to mark that down. Let's see what it can do here if it can break out of that. That 169.35 you can also see has been resistance before, right around here a couple of days ago. If it can break out of that, we do have an area right around here, 173.10, and also all the way here at 175.68. Towards the bottom, guys, I think you have plenty of levels. I'm not going to add any more. You have the high from 2 days ago. You have all these moving averages right in here. So I'm actually going to mark just this one, this 165.45. And then below that, previous day close, highs and lows right in this area. What I like about this 165 is, one, you got the moving average here, and you also have this day closing around this level as well. So that's BABA for today. Let's see what it does around this 169. It looks like it's having a hard time right now, but the volume is great, 2.5 and up 4.2. DCPH, this pre-market activity is looking very horrible, guys. We do have some levels already here within the price action, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days, previous day close. Don't really need to add anymore. You just might want to add just the previous, the low of the pre-market. And then you have this gap. You have this huge gap. And I'll be honest, I feel a little short bias on this, but I know the spread on this was nasty when it was in play. So today I don't expect it to be any better, but just be careful. So we have some levels down here going back towards middle of last year around 33.14. And then another area right here around 29.19. Again, these are big drop, guys. I don't expect it to drop this much, but definitely keep those levels in your chart. So might not be one that stays on the final list, because if you look at this pre-market activity, it's just not looking great. But I do like the way the daily is setting up. Looks like a possible short opportunity. Here we have Cisco. Beautiful pre-market action, bouncing back from the lows of the pre-market at 45.43. High of the pre-market sitting at 48.49. We'll mark that down. Let's go back. Just want to see if there's anything within this range that we've been in. Okay, so we do have some stuff early this year going back in February. So let's just zoom in here. Oh yeah, this is a beautiful one right here. I like this level at 46.52. As you can see, resistance right on here. And then we talked about this yesterday, right? You have the one day that gets above it, comes back the following day, tests that previous resistance as support, and then takes off, comes back, tests it one more time, and then you can see a nice pop here heading towards the top. So several levels here for Cisco today. And then above this 48.47, obviously you have a level here at 50 that has been a huge support over the last couple of months. You can see here just not breaking that until today. Let's find something right in here also around that February time frame. You have a level right over here at 49.28. You can see some serious support happening here before the next leg up. So that's what we have on Cisco. Again, very clean pre-market activity at the moment, guys. So definitely going to keep an eye on this one with some great volume right now. CGC starting to take off. Let's look at the daily. So low of the pre-market sitting at what do we have here? 27.03. So let's mark that down. High of the pre-market, which looks like this thing wants to blow by, is a 28.91. So let's see what it does there. Seems like it wants to get above that. Then we have a nice big gap from the last days of action over around 31. Let me see if we have something in between there, because that's a big jump. It's going to need a lot of firepower to get going above that. So I'm just going to go back here. Here you have some days, yeah, right around here. I like this level right around here. I'll explain to you why in a second. This 30.31. So you have this day over here as resistance, then comes back, tests the support. You got more support and resistance here, and then you have resistance, and then support before you take this off on this beautiful pop over here. So 31.30 looks very nice. Looks like it couldn't break over from the high of the pre-market, heading back down. Pre-market activity right now doesn't look all that great, but I do like the way this daily chart is here. So we'll see what we can get out of CGC today. AMD, guys, starting to put in a nice, beautiful pre-market activity, starting to get above that 2%. Looks like it's in for a nice bounce. Let's remove some of these levels, because now we got a lot going on here. So towards the bottom, you got your previous day close. You have your low of the pre-market plus the low of yesterday right on the dot. Just want to get a level below that in case we lose. I don't think we're heading south on AMD today, but we have 29.09. Then towards the top, you have the high from yesterday. I'm not going to mark the pre-market high, guys, because I think this thing is just going to probably test the high from yesterday one more time. And then above that, you have the low from the last two trading days ago, and then you have some moving averages also coming in here. So again, I don't think you need to add any more to AMD. It's very congested in this area already. LK, guys, doesn't have a great pre-market activity, not great volume, so I'm just going to remove this one. I like the bounce here that we're doing off the lows from yesterday, but again, just not looking too great for me, so I'm just going to remove this one. GE, very choppy pre-market activity, but it does have a lot of volume, and it is heading down here. We're all-time low on GE, guys. Let me go back. 840 is the low of the pre-market right now. No, this is not all-time low, so we do have some levels. Oh, going back in December. Look at this. Ouch. So let's get in here and see what we have towards the bottom. Some good levels below 840. We do have one right here around 821. And again, I know 821 is so close to 840, but guys, this stock does not move much. If you can get 20 cents out of GE, you're in the driver's seat. Another level right here at 782. This is why I like these two levels. So 782. Look at 782 high was support. Broke below it, then became resistance, right? Resistance here and here. And then the next level also was support at one point and then became resistance until it finally was able to break out of that 817, 820-ish area. And then towards the top, guys, you have really the previous day close, the high of the pre-market. You have several levels up there that we can hopefully try to aim for if this thing wants to put in a bounce today. Here we have Apple. Apple is very active, kind of stuck within this range right now. Had a nice big day on Wednesday. I'm sorry, this will be Tuesday. So towards the top, you got the high from yesterday. I'm going to mark the high of the pre-market because it seems like it's going to try to test it one more time. 204.81. Above that, you have the high from yesterday around 206.46. And above that, you have, I like this level here, this 210. For several reasons. You have several days consolidating around this area before they're finally able to break out of that. So I'm going to mark that down just to have it as reference. So plenty of levels from Apple here. And here we have Roku. Roku, again, a stock that continues to be strong. Every time it sells down, it comes right back up. I'm not going to add too many levels on here, but this 136.55 is a great level. Then you have your all-time high sitting up here around that 142. Towards the bottom, if we lose the previous day close and the low of the pre-market, you can possibly hit this 123. You have a nice moving average plus a day here on the high and also very close to the close of this day as well. So we'll see what we get out of Roku today. Starting to put in a good pre-market activity with some good volume. So hopefully can continue to do that. Here we have NVIDIA, guys. So NVIDIA at the moment, again, just kind of looking like Apple. We are stuck between some levels of support and resistance. Previous day close, highs and lows from the last two trading days. We also have this 147 down here from the previous pre-market show. And also, I'm just the only one you really want to add here is this moving average at 155.18, very close to the high of this day. Besides that, you have plenty of levels towards the top and the bottom, so don't add too many and make it confusing. Here, the high of the pre-market is sitting at 155.60, but it looks like we're going to be breaking through that any minute now. Facebook is the same situation. I'm not going to keep Facebook and NVIDIA. They both look pretty much the same, so I'm going to remove Facebook out of the list. PVT. This is the rumor of a buyout or a possible buyout, so we'll wait to see what we have on here. This could be a good one to look in our scanner, see what we can get out of it. Low of the pre-market sitting at 1371, and you got your high sitting at 1440. So let's mark those down. Just want to see what else we have around this. Well, we're stuck right between this gap. So just towards the bottom, you have this beautiful level here at 1292. Towards the top, obviously, this is a clean level at 1827. I don't think we're going to get up there today, especially if we're playing around with a buyout. And then right over here, oops, let me move this back. Right in this area here, going back to early this year, you look at that high of the pre-market 1440, how it's reacting to this exact same level of previous support. Towards the top, you can mark down this one here, 1542, and then also this one here, 1654. Again, one that I'm probably not going to keep, but we have our levels ready in case it hits any of our scanners. We can tune into it, and we'll be ready to go. Guys, the low flow of the week really, and today again, RKDA hitting that 881, which we have from before of this pop here, as we mentioned earlier, and today looks like it's just tested at around the high of the pre-market. So plenty of levels for this already. I'm just going to add this one here at 781. That could be another possible level if it starts to head down and can do a fallen angel. And then you have a possibility of 1038 here, as it has hit that before in the past. So that's the play for the low flow team today. All right, guys, so let's just go over this and keep the best one. So Walmart, we're going to keep. I like Walmart. Baba, I don't usually trade, but I got to tell you, this pre-market activity looks really good today. I love the volume, so I'm going to keep that one. DCPH, I am going to remove, guys. It's just the pre-market activity not looking all that great. Look at the spread, it was just high as 20 cents at one point. So again, this could be a good one. We have our levels ready. If it hits our turbo breakdown, which I'm kind of short buys on, and we can look into it. Cisco is putting in a beautiful pre-market activity, guys. This one want to see that nice flow. See that tests the high of the pre-market, heads back down. Let's see what it can do here. So this looks good. Very nice spread. 10 cents right now, but it'll get better at the open. CGC also looking very good. AMD also looking great. Good pre-market action. GE a little choppy. Apple looking great. Gonna remove Roku, I think. So I'm gonna take off Roku. I'm gonna take off Nvidia. PBTL. I'm going to take off PBTL. This is one that I will look for in my scanners. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to keep these 7 for now. Andrew's going to be on in a few minutes. Brian is going to send his watch list as well, and the rest of the moderators, Norm and myself. And then I'll pick one to take off from this list. But right now, all of these look very, very good. So definitely we have a very good watch list today. And we have some more that came up in our gappers list, Norm. So I don't know if you've seen anything that you like aside from what I'm watching already.
I'm going to have Tapestry, TPR, on my list. The volume in there in the pre-market's kind of ugly, but they had it's a nicey stock. It usually doesn't trade very well pre-market, but it could change during the actual trading day. So I'll have my eye on that one. And then, yeah, TPR. AMD's actually up over 2%, hit our gappers list now. You know, it had bumped up against that 34 number it likes so much. It's come back $4, so I'm going to see if that does anything on some.
Yeah, I do like AMD today too. I mean, it's a very nice, clean pre-market activity we're getting out of it this morning. All right, so I think we have a very good list. Just going to go through our gappers and see what we missed. We have GMAB. What is GMAB doing? Not much. Nasty, guys. Yes, it's climbing over 100,000 shares traded, down 3%, but look at this pre-market activity. Not looking great at all. If you want to see what a great pre-market activity looks like, definitely check out Class 2, guys. It is on YouTube. You can see what we mean by a good pre-market activity and a bad one, and a bad pre-market activity, and this is definitely a bad one. Guys, thank you for joining us on YouTube. Take care. Have a great day. Have a safe Trading Thursday, and we will see you guys tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern Time.
Thanks for joining us, guys. If you're watching on YouTube and you haven't been with us live in the room and you'd like to give it a shot with us trading live all day, Andrew, then Brian, then me, Eamon, Peter, all the other moderators trade live all day in the room, have the scanners up, Williams Trade Reviews. You can use the promo code PREMARKET24, no spaces, PREMARKET, the number's 24, for a discount for a 1-week trial that does not renew. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.